Hey, today I'm talking about 3 movies featuring songs by the band Mumford Sons. And the names of those 3 movies are The Book of Life, Bella Vita, and Still Mine. First up is The Book of Life. This is a 2012 animated film featuring a ton of actors you would definitely recognize. And the basic premise is 2 men competing for the love of a woman. But to make things spicier, some deities have gotten involved and have placed a little bet on which of the men is going to end up with the woman, with some big, dire consequences. And yeah, I liked it. It was fun. I think the animation style was really interesting. Like, they're all puppets, little marionette type things. And that's fun. It kind of helped add to like the storybook element of the film. It's technically a jukebox musical with a couple of original songs. All of the pop songs do fit narratively, but I was always so taken aback by it. Like, it just reminded me I'm watching a movie. They didn't really flow as well as it needed to. So yeah, they fit, but they didn't fit. So I wish they wouldn't have had them, even though that's the whole reason I watch this, is because it has I Will Wait, which is a good song. I definitely liked the story and thought it was very whimsical, and I loved the places that it went to, in particular because it was not afraid to go to darker places. Like, halfway through the movie it takes a pretty decently dark turn, and that was enjoyable. And then the characters were very strong and interesting, and I enjoyed the cast and I liked the messaging of the film. Overall, it wasn't the strongest of stories. Like, they did rely on this framing device that they kept cutting back to, and I didn't really care for that. The framing devices in general I'm not the hugest fan of. I feel like it held back at times when it really should have pushed more. That definitely brought it down a bit. Like, it didn't swing hard enough. To continue with a baseball metaphor, like, it definitely hit. They made it to base, but instead of it being a triple or a home run, it's just like a single, maybe a double. It's fine. It's nice. It's harmless. I would say if you're a fan of Mexican culture, Day of the Dead stuff, if you really like Coco, like anything sort of like that, then sure, definitely go for it. Or if you're just generally intrigued, you're not in for a bad time. I'd just be surprised if it'll be one of your favorite movies of the year. But if nothing about it's really grabbing you, this is an okay one to skip. It's a nice little movie, but like, it's not an earth-shatteringly amazing one. So yeah. Next up is Bella Vita. This is a 2013 surfing documentary. The premise is it's about this pro surfer guy who is half Italian. In his childhood, spends summers in Italy. And so now as a 30-year-old adult, he's going back again, and he brought a camera crew along to document the experience of him being in Italy. Let's start with positives. It looks really good. These are some nice cameras that they got, and they know how to use them. There are some really incredibly gorgeous looking shots, that's for sure. Also, there's a sequence that talks about the history of surfing in Italy, because they didn't have access to surfboards back in the day, so they had to build their own from scratch. There weren't tutorials online or schematics, so they just figured it out on their own. So that was really interesting. Music was nice. It was like cool guitar stuff. There's one Mumford & Sons song that's a good one, and then the rest of the stuff is just like similar vibes. Like, if you just hit continue playing after listening to one of their albums, it's basically that. Man, this movie is just a vacation highlight reel. They've got really cool, fun, slow-mo shots of people surfing, and like, I don't care. Never surfed. I will never surf. Sure, it looks pretty, but like, the majority of the movie is just them surfing in slow-mo to fun acoustic music. Everything else that's happening is just like random things that they came across while in Italy. Like, they start talking about this vineyard, and I'm like, why are we talking about this vineyard? It really doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just his friend owns a vineyard and he was staying there, so they just recorded them hanging out of the vineyard. And again, it looks really pretty and it feels like it's gonna mean something. It doesn't. It's just them at a vineyard. And then same with just like a million other things. Like, it very much so felt like ADHD, the movie. Here's another thing, here's another thing, here's another thing. None of this is flowing together other than this is just what this guy did on his long vacation in Italy. It's such a nothing thing. It looks pretty though. I put it as a meh. Now, if you really love surfing, you're really into that vibe, or if like you know who this guy is, I'm sure you could love this movie. This is probably right up your alley in that case. If you are anyone else, this movie is not for you. Don't watch this movie. If you want the experience of this movie, just watch highlight reels of surfing competitions and then look up random facts about Italy. And it'll be the exact same experience and more curtailed to what you're actually interested in. So yeah, no, this was a difficult watch. I didn't hate it, but man, this is definitely not a liked. So meh is the perfect description. So yeah, no, didn't really care for the movie. Do not recommend it unless you really love surfing. So yeah. And lastly is Still Mine. This is a 2012 film that, oh boy, was an experience. So it's about this man in his late 80s and his aging wife. She's clearly got signs of dementia, and he of course is stuck in his ways. So if you have aging parents, this film is like all of those incredibly awkward and painful conversations you've had with your parents. Them just like not wanting to admit they're old, not wanting to admit that they can't do things, and still just doing them anyway. Them not understanding laws and why they exist. Them just not wanting to admit that they're having cognitive issues. It's the most infuriating experience because it's like, how do I explain to this person that has taught me everything in my life, things that they should definitely already know? It's just, oh my God, it's just, ugh. The movie technically set out to do that. Like that was intentional. So like it did its job. The issue is the movie just did its job too well that I just couldn't with this movie. It's too real in its infuriation. Like the dude's trying to build a house for his wife and refuses to acknowledge how you're supposed to legally do that because it's not the 1860s and the Wild West and you could just build anywhere you want and it's yours and make it however you want. No, there's steps and processes, and there's reasons for those steps and processes. It's to ensure safety is kind of the main thing. But his dad was taught how to do all this stuff, and my dad taught me, and I'm like, you're still sturdy, and it's like, God, just, I get it. You're good, you're talented. You still gotta follow the law, man. So yeah, no, I had to shut this movie off. I could not take it. I gave it a good shot. It was like 3/4 of the way through when I was just like, I can't anymore. I think it was like I needed to go to the bathroom and I'm like, if I stop this movie, I'm not starting it again. So yeah, if your parents aren't old, then I could potentially recommend it because then it won't feel too close to home for you. But yeah, even still, it's so, oh God. I didn't care for this movie. I really wouldn't recommend it. Unless like you're old and you're like, why is the world like this? And you want to be angry and stuff, then sure, give it a watch. I don't know. Alrighty, now for today's rankings, first up we got The Book of Life sitting at number 114 in the liked section. And then after that is Bella Vita sitting at number 168 in the meh section. And then bringing up the rear is Still Mine sitting at number 186 in the didn't like section. This is out of a total of 198 old movies so far this year. But the whole reason that I did this theme is because I went to a Mumford Sons concert and wanted to talk about my experience because it was delightful. If you can't tell, I'm wearing my Mumford Sons shirt that I got there. It's the concert one. I love Mumford & Sons. I've been a fan of them since the early days. This album I crazy love. I have such fond memories of their first album. That winter I was in college and we had a end of the year dance thing, and I remember talking to this woman who went on to become my college best friend. This was like the night we became friends. And like we're just sitting at a table just talking, and then Little Lion Man came on and everyone just exploded out of their chairs and rushed to the dance floor floor, and we were just bopping so hard. I can still picture my friend though, because she hadn't heard the song yet, and I just remember her being like, I don't know this song, and I'm like, it's fine, it's so good. That album's so great. I love the album to bits. I'm a fan of the other ones. Babel, enjoyed a good amount. Rushmore, the new one, I'm a good fan of. Wilder Mind, I haven't listened to it a ton. Delta, which I don't own on vinyl, I've listened to just a couple of times. But the whole reason I decided to go to the concert is because my mom loves going to events and stuff. For Christmas one year, I'm like, hey, I'll pay for us to go to some big live event. You pick what it is. And then after 2 years, she didn't pick anything. And I was like, you keep buying me Mumford Sons albums on vinyl, which I love. So happy about that. So I was like, do you want to go to Mumford Sons concert? Because they have one coming out with their new album. And she said yes. And so that's what we did. We went to that. And it was great. I had a blast at the concert. So I bought this shirt and then this poster. Prior to that, I asked my mom if she wanted to get in the merch line with me after we had found our seats. And she was like, no, I'm fine. And then I went and I bought the stuff. And man, I had such decision paralysis. There were so many great options. I'm very happy with what I got, but I definitely should have taken a picture and then thought about it some more. But yeah, I bought this and that. And then I went back to the seat and showed my mom, and she's like, oh, cool. And then after a few minutes, she's like, all right, I'm gonna go for a walk. And then she left, and after a while, she came back and she was like, I bought the same poster as you. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, cool. So that was fun. But yeah, no, the concert itself was so great. Like, it was such a good vibe. Like, I really loved the crowd. It was definitely people around my age and then clubs of people around my mom's age. So like, we definitely fit the bill, especially with like our attire too. So I really liked that. We were just like in the right place. And then the songs were just so good. I had been re-listening to their music in preparation, but hearing them perform the songs live from their first album, Sigh No More, really brought me back to when I first discovered it. Like, it just re-energized me in the same way that those first few listens to it did. And it was also just felt like a nostalgia trip. And then like the crowd definitely reacted to their big hits the most, but I was really caught off guard by how the energy in the room shifted when they started to play The Cave, which is a song that I forgot I love a lot. It's probably up there as my favorite song. It was so fun to just feel the whole crowd just really get into it. And it sort of made me re-fall in love with that song in a new way. I also didn't know that halfway through the concert, they were gonna get off of the main stage and then come to a second stage on the other side of the stadium that was actually really close to us. I was so surprised by that and was just so happy that we got to be so close to them so suddenly. And then like they had this cool chandelier thing that would light up differently throughout the concert and come down to like different stages. That was a lot of fun. A little thing I loved is that our section was not afraid to sit down, because like my mom is older and I was afraid she would have to stand the entire time because everyone around us would be standing and she wouldn't be able to see. But thankfully my section was vibing, and like we would sit for the slow songs and then jump up for the fast songs. So it was such a good balance. It was just like a really good vibe in general. I'm really happy that I did this. I'm very happy that I got to share the experience with my mom. I'm happy that she loved the experience too. It was just really good vibes. It was fun. I of course loved all the songs that were off of Sigh No More, but the whole thing from top to bottom was just an incredible experience. It's definitely going to be something that I keep with me for a long time, and it's without a doubt one of the highlights of this year. So yeah, no, thoroughly loved going to the concert. Would without a doubt recommend you going to see them, even if you're only a fan of like their earlier stuff, which I totally get. Bands change over time, tastes change over time. I think it'd still be worth it just because like when they play those songs, they really hit. So yeah, no, fantastic experience. Wholeheartedly recommend it.